position by directly telling him that she didn't know what they told him, but nothing was going to happen before fleeing the room. The only thing was, she was trapped on the yacht and had no option but to hide. Hands here described the incident as a profound betrayal, likening the feeling to being physically struck and expressing that she was treated like a call girl by someone who had previously acted as a close friend. Many saw this as Hayden revealing the darker side of the industry.
Hi, excuse me, miss, hello. What if I told you I could get you some money right now?
I wouldn't believe you.
Okay, let's get out your phone, download the app called Bridget. All right, they're going to give you up to $250 in under 2 minutes with no credit check or interest.
Oh my gosh, I got it. Hi, my name's Cassandra, and Bridget just showed me the money.
After a 12-hour shift, this is the last message I wanted to see. And to top everything off, of course my car's on E, and all I have is $12 in my bank account. And with payday 1 week away, everything just felt hopeless. But I know Tilt's got my back. Tilt can hook you up with a cash advance up to $500, sent straight to your bank account. No interest, no credit check, and no late fees. Life can get tough sometimes, but Tilt will keep you afloat. No judgment, just support when you need it most. Because Tilt knows you're good for it. Download Tilt and get started today.
They believe she was talking about how the backdoor deals are made. People believe that they were possibly offering her a big opportunity, but to seal the deal, she had to meet with that man on the yacht. She was then taken to the private room to meet him, and she was expected to do as he wanted if she was going to get that opportunity. This is one of the darkest stories I have seen a celebrity detail in their book. She recently did an interview where she spoke about this incident, and when she tells the story in person, you can see the pain in her eyes.
I realized that I was in danger, but by the time I realized I was in danger, I was quite literally out to sea. And it was that moment shook me. It was shocking. And I was quite literally walked down, and I had been having a great time. There was no hints of anything like that happening. So it took me, I was shocked. It took me by surprise. And it was led by somebody that I had grown to trust and see as a protector and somebody who had my back. And to be walked down the stairs, and it was like a surprise, presented as though it was like a surprise. And it was this very small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous and had his hands like this, like this was just, an average day for him. This is something that happens all the time. And I waited for her to leave, and I mean that lion in me, that fire in me, that my hair stood on end, and I became ferocious. I was like, this is not happening. But I had nowhere to hide, and I bolted, and I hid wherever I could think of to hide on a boat. There was no jumping off and swimming away, and there was nobody who was going to. I realized that there was nobody who was going to be empathetic to my situation, that this was nothing new to them.
It appears that what they did to her clearly affected her deeply. She seems visibly disturbed about the situation, as if she was reliving what happened on that day. What she said about being on the boat was the most terrifying thing of it all. It is like they picked this boat so she would have nowhere else to go. This is truly scary, and she is so lucky she made it out of that situation. We have all heard of the strange disappearances that happen out on the sea. Unfortunately, although she described them, she never identified this mystery man, leaving his name unknown and allowing him the opportunity to do it to others.
The first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. The Charlotte Hornets find themselves in a postseason deadlock at 2 games apiece. It is a critical turning point, and they know the time is now as they face a pivotal Game 5 against the Detroit Pistons. Round 1 of the NBA playoffs continues.
Tensions are high going into... You take a look at the Pistons. It's been a tough one so far. Back and forth through the first 4 games.
And we all know they have home court advantage, but this is a 3-game series now. A statement win here is what this team is hoping for.
And a look at the starters for Charlotte. We've got George. He's out there with Jason Tatum. And it's Hastings in at the 5, roaming the paint. Chipped away. Here's Gervin, pounded by Tatum. Hastings with a rebound. And keeping us updated from the sideline, Allie LaForce.
I briefly spoke with J.B. Bickerstaff. We talked about his approach in guarding Jason Tatum. He said, we want to crowd Tatum right from the jump and prevent him from getting into an early rhythm, especially from deep. Because when his three-point shot is falling, it opens up the rest of his game. Ryan?
Thanks for that, Allie. Here's McGrady. The quick look, no good that time.
Well, I'm not sure if he was surprised to be that wide open, but something got him out of focus.
Hastings with a bucket.
And that's what they want to do. Get him open looks early.
Here's Malone. And he takes it in for the layup off a very nice feed.
The defensive effort was lacking a bit, but hey, give them credit for finding a weakness there.
Well, with that kind of success, I imagine they'll continue to be aggressive inside.
From the wing. Oh, and Johnson with a block. And the ball out of play. The Pistons will have it.
Led by somebody that I had grown to trust, and he had a protector and somebody who had my back, and to be walked down the stairs, and it was like a surprise, as though it was like a surprise. A small room, and she physically put me in the bed next to this undressed man who was very famous and had his hands like this, like this was just, average day for him. This was something that happens all the time, and I waited for her to leave, and I mean that line in me, that fire in me, that my hair stood on end, and I became ferocious. I was like, this is not happening. But I had nowhere to hide, and I bolted, and I hid wherever I could think of to hide on a boat. There was no jumping off and swimming away, and there was nobody who was going to, I realized that there was nobody who was going to be empathetic to my situation, that this was nothing new to them.
By the time she turned 19, would be frustrated with Holly and decide to sabotage. She would fire her mother, her management at the time, or get some strange news.
When I was 19, I finally got the guts to split from her, as in business-wise, because I desperately wanted a relationship with her, desperately wanted her to just be my mom. And so she came to my trailer during lunch when we were filming Heroes, and I said to her, I don't want us to work together anymore. I just want you to be my mom. But I also wasn't expecting the reaction that I got, which was, you owe me. And that's all she said. And she walked out. And part of me was like, oh, I'm relieved that it was short, like ripped the Band-Aid off. But then it was like this dark, looming cloud, over my head going, what does she mean by I owe her?
After severing the ties with Hollywood, closed the doors on all her opportunities.
We're facing for like a decade of Neutrogena. She was talking about, she's one of the most local celebrities who talks about postpartum depression, because she had a really severe case of it. And she's literally been with the brand for 10 years, and they hired her because of that. And I think they're getting dragged, as they most should. And like, you know how your wife's are trash too? Yeah, I use Real now. I just want to say, I use Real every night, and I bought new wipes, and I haven't even opened them.
About 2023, Tierra was basically the dark side of the image. Her brother James declared Tierra legal to mob. Some people will blame it on the fact he got that player's arm, but I don't know.
He was my only sibling, and he was my younger sibling, and it was my job to protect him. And when I lost him, they felt like I lost half of my soul. I remember saying to somebody, and it hadn't even been a year, and I was like, don't ever expect me to get over the loss of him, because no matter how many years go by, he will always be beside me, and it will always be, heartbreaking about it. I'll never be able to get over it.
She would do anything to reveal how life spiraled out of control into her hand, but they would give her a substance called happiness that would leave her hooked.
About 16, one of the people that I was working with in my inner circle introduced me for the first time to what she called hacks. And I had no idea what they were, but I know that when I was given one and I was sent on the red carpet, I was like lively and like totally down to answer the questions and the tasks. What did you come to learn as how these work? I think they were a form of hacks. I was completely knowledgeable about justice and that kind of thing. I did grow up around people that I felt like, I didn't realize it later, but I felt like used alcohol as medicine.
But on May 19, 2026, Hayden will release a memoir and spill the beans on the industry and the inner deal. Her ex-boyfriend will do an interview with TM and signal that she might be in trouble.
When was the last time you talked to Hayden, and what was that conversation like?
I talked to her yesterday.
Were you guys talking about the book, or what was the conversation?
The conversation was about the book, and she was, didn't worry about it. She was sick of the smoke, and they wouldn't be nice about it. But, the only thing I said to her, I was like, look, dude, I was like, you got one of the craziest stories I've ever heard in my life, and when people read it, don't be it.
On August 16, 2026, mysteriously, Hayden would meet her demise at the age of 36, just months after her book release.
Her destiny, as you mentioned, she was found in the Judson Mill Lofts as an apartment complex on Eastlink Bridge Road here in Greenville. Authorities say they were initially called because of an unresponsive female that was later identified as Comitiere. This happened just before 2 o'clock yesterday. Authorities telling us right now that medical assistance was provided when they arrived, but Comitiere was pronounced dead at the complex.
Let me know what shot. They had to go into the brain of exposing the NSD, or was it just her time to go? He comments.
Something that doesn't get appreciated enough is Lillard's patience. But he's not one to rush things or look for easy outs.
Hey guys, it's your favorite up here. Go ahead and click that subscribe.
Pistons making a change here. Lewis is checked in.
The tree is finally bearing fruit. The Kawhi verdict is in. I'm Trevor Lane. He's Donnie Freeman. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Oh boy, we've got a lot to talk about here. Donnie, we finally have it for the ESPN. The NBA has found no evidence showing LA Clippers owner Steve Ballmer funneled money through team sponsors to pay Kawhi Leonard. Donnie, do you think anyone's going to believe that?
No, I don't. Well, yes, I do.
Clippers fans will.
Yeah, and the Raptors, of course, because that's been what they've been looking forward to this whole time. And for the record, I just got to say, if there is no evidence, then there's no evidence. That's fine. It is what it is, whether people believe it or not, if that's the final verdict, right? But I think, like you said, many times when we do videos, we need to kind of know what the thought process was, what they didn't see, how they explain away some of the things that were out there as circumstantial evidence. Like, I don't know that they're going to do that. Like I said last time we talked about that, but they should, because nobody's really going to believe that the wider public already made a determination, which, right or wrong, that's kind of where we have been sitting for the last year.
100%. Now is the time for the NBA to show the cards. Okay, hey, if there's no evidence, why?
It's like, yo, bro, y'all can't let this shit, because y'all so mad.
Why would you come to the determination that there is no evidence? And if that is the correct truth, then fine. Then we move on from there. This is going to have major ramifications for not just the NBA long term. We'll talk about that, but also right now in terms of the rest of the NBA moving forward with some other deals. We talked about the Kawhi Leonard trade to Toronto. Obviously, that could be a direct reflection of this decision here. That could suddenly be opened up again, and we could maybe see that trade get done. Has this been holding up perhaps the Peyton Watson situation, perhaps the Jonathan Kuminga situation? Could other moves take place? Doesn't mean they're going to, but potential for other NBA business to get done too once this situation is resolved. However, it's not as simple as, oh, they got away scot-free, everything is fine, because instead, according to ESPN, the NBA is focused on whether the team's introduction of Leonard to team sponsors constitutes a violation of the league's rules prohibiting salary cap circumvention, the two sources said. So they're examining whether the Clippers are guilty of a failure to supervise employees. So, Donnie, I guess a couple things. First of all, I believe it was Andy Kamenetsky put out there on X, like, so this is like getting Al Capone on tax evasion. Like, yes, that, that's kind of what this sounds like. But the other thing is, if this is something they're an improper introduction is what they're guilty of, I can't imagine that would have a punishment anywhere near what we'd be talking about for salary cap circumvention.
Yeah, I don't think it would be anything close. That's another thing that they would have to try to explain away. You know, how did those negotiations go? They very clearly were emails that are out there about what Daktronics and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just fishy. But I think that the timing on that one was kind of interesting. Like, when that all became public, the NBA had already known that was found in the investigation. But I kind of started to get the idea that maybe that would be what really gets them nailed. But it wouldn't be, like you said, the punishment won't be anything even close to what this would have been. And that's probably the right thing, right? But just overall, the people are hoping to get the hammer of God dropped on them. It just isn't going to happen here, right?
Yeah, if that's the way this is ultimately going to go, yeah, this is not, Mjolnir's not getting dropped on the.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel. Today's going to be a very special one. Today we are Stewart Castle Country Club here in Scotland. We're here, some of my ride or die brothers from 2016 NBA champion Cleveland Cavaliers. You can turn the camera around and pan. We got J.R. Smith there. Oh, the big dog Channing there. Richard Jefferson there. Tristan Thompson and Kevin Love as well. What's up, y'all? Welcome to the channel. Today's going to be a very special one. Today we are Stewart Castle Country Club here in Scotland. We're here, some of my riders for this. Now, that said, it's interesting the way this is being presented, that the league presented initial findings of the investigation to the Clippers in late July. In recent days, both sides have been negotiating a resolution to the investigation. They've been negotiating a resolution. To me, that...
What are you negotiating?
What are you negotiating? Exactly. To me, that says there is some type of...
NBA
NBA gave the Philadelphia 76ers an extremely LeBron James and Joel Embiid friendly schedule in 2026-27. They have the fewest back-to-back games with only 13. They have the fewest 3 games in 4 nights in the entire NBA. They won't face a Western Conference team until the 18th game of the season. And they won't start a Western Conference road trip until Christmas Day. Shout out my boy Adam Silver. I've been a fan of Adam Silver his entire career as NBA commissioner. I've never said a bad thing about Adam Silver. I did not go on rants on this show about how the NBA needs to run out Adam Silver, that we need to sign petitions to get Adam Silver out of office as NBA's commissioner. I did not say that Adam Silver is making the NBA worse by focusing solely on expansion and globalism and analytics. I didn't say any of that. If there is any clips of me saying those kinds of things about Adam Silver, it is AI generated. It wasn't me. Adam Silver is my boy. We're like this. And I always knew he would come through. They're saying that the NBA is coddling LeBron James. And they're like, oh, great, look, LeBron's been coddled his whole career, and now the NBA gives the 76ers the fewest back-to-back games and the fewest 3 games in 4 nights, and they coddle LeBron James more and give him an easy schedule. Yes, that is what happens. When you are 41 years old, and you're still the biggest draw in the NBA, and you just made the biggest storyline in the NBA offseason by leaving the Lakers and choosing to go play with the Philadelphia 76ers for the last couple of years of your career, yes, you get preferential treatment. You get favoritism. You know? That's any job. Any job. Most experienced employee in whatever position gets to the point where he gets to make his own schedule, he gets to work where he wants to work, he gets to whatever, bro. That's any job. LeBron James still playing at this point in his career is one of the biggest stories in the NBA, maybe the biggest story in the NBA right now. LeBron joining the Sixers is the biggest story in the NBA right now, and yes, the NBA wants to make as much money off of that as possible. LeBron haters, you gotta just accept the fact that this is a business. Of course they were going to do this. Adam Silver, he wasn't joking when he said, hey, I need LeBron James to make a decision because we got to make the schedule. And everyone was like, why don't they just make the schedule without him? Who cares about LeBron James? Who cares? Just make the schedule now. Knicks fans are like, who cares about LeBron James? We run the NBA. The New York Knicks are the face of the NBA. Jalen Brunson is the face of the NBA. That's what New York Knicks fans said. Why do you care about LeBron James? Why don't you just make the schedule and LeBron can choose his team whenever? Who cares? The NBA said, you guys don't get it. You guys don't get it. They literally needed LeBron James to choose a team so that they could give him the easiest schedule. And if he wasn't playing for the 76ers, I would be mad about it too. I do think it's a little bit sad for Joel Embiid that last season, where he was coming off of meniscus surgery, knee swelling, whatever else, guy's been injured his whole career. The NBA said most back-to-backs in the NBA.